This is a recipe for my nephew Camden. It's an Italian flatbread, Farinata. It's made with chickpea flour, water, salt, black pepper, rosemary, red onion, a little olive oil. So we've got 2 cups of flour, and I've already put one in there. Good trick is to sift it out. All right. And the reason for that is you'll have little pieces of flour that they're kind of in a ball. So if you do that, you get rid of any potential lumps you're going to have. To that, 1 teaspoon of salt, and I'm using Himalayan. It's a pink salt. All right, we grab a whisk. To that, we're going to add our 2½ cups of water. This is water at room temperature. This is a filtered water. And next, we're going to add in about 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil. This recipe calls for a total of 3 tablespoons. Initially, you're going to use 1.5. Now, Camden, this is gluten-free, so it's perfect for your diet. Once we get this mixed, we're going to place it. We're going to put a saran wrap cover over it, and we're going to place it in the refrigerator for 1 hour. All right, so if I had to describe it, it's almost like a pancake batter right now. Now, the reason why I wanted to make this today, actually 2 reasons. One is for Camden. I think this is going to be something you're going to enjoy. You could turn it into the base for a pizza. For me, tonight I'm going to reheat some of my Selena chicken stew, and I'm going to put it over a slice of this flatbread. All right, so we're good here. Next, I'm going to cover it with saran wrap and put it in the fridge for 1 hour. I've got my flatbread mixture, the Farinata flatbread mixture, in the fridge. Actually, I need to set my timer. Let me do that real quick so I don't lose track of time. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and prep my onion. So 1 red onion. Let me grab something to put this in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this into pieces of onion like this right here, okay? And then we're going to saute it in a little olive oil and just a little bit of salt. Nothing fancy here. This is a really simple recipe. All right, 1 more. All right. So that's all there is to prep the onion. The rosemary, when the time comes, I'm just going to break off the tops and tear it up and put it right into my batter. So fresh rosemary from my garden. It smells amazing. So I'm sauteing my red onions. I probably have 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So I guess technically I'm at 3.5 tablespoons of olive oil. Quanto basta, right? As little or as much as you like. I wanted a little bit more. I also added just a little bit more salt to the onions as they're sauteing. My convection oven is preheating. I set it to 425. Once the onions are cooked to your liking, I don't think there's a right or wrong. I just like to soften them up just a little bit. I have pulled my batter out, so it was in the fridge for 1 hour. We'll add this in. And I like to use this spatula so I can get as much of this out of the bowl. Now, if you didn't have red onion, go ahead, use a yellow. You didn't have that, I'm sure a shallot or several shallots would be fine. Okay, I'm going to add my black pepper. Again, quanto basta, as little or as much as you like. I like a lot. Now, rosemary. I know a minute ago I said I pulled the tops off. I use more than just the tops. My point was, I like to rip it and leave it in larger pieces. Now, I made this once before, and what I realized is I really wanted more of the herbs. So I'm going to put a lot of rosemary. Again, that's up to you how much you want to use. I would not recommend using a dry rosemary in this. I'm going to turn this off. There's not a lot of flavor to the flatbread, right? There's not a lot of salt. There's not a lot of pepper. Really enhance the flavor by adding herbs. You could use thyme if you liked. But anyway, I guess you could substitute the onion for garlic. Another thing I found too with the larger leaves of rosemary versus dicing it up, when you go to eat it, it's nice to have a large piece of the rosemary. Okay, I think we're just about done. Not quite up to temperature yet, so I'll finish putting my herbs in. And I actually think I'm going to just put a little salt over the top of this. I'm going to put another one in here. These are small. I've got about 6 sprigs, but they were about that big. And these are from my garden. They're organic. You know what I say, I try and use organic when possible. We have kind of a family joke where my mother has to preface everything with, it's organic. And I think after 50 years, she's turned me into a male version of her. Right, Adam? You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, use organic, onions. The chickpea flour, the garbanzo flour is not organic. I had a hard time finding this. It's non-GMO, but again, the goal would be is that I can find an organic flour. That's what it looks like before we go into the oven. You can see how much rosemary. I did put a little salt over the top, and I did drizzle just a little bit of olive oil. All right, we're heading in the oven. "35 minutes later, there's the Farinata. I am so sorry about the lighting today. I normally film outside. Today I'm inside. It's raining. Anyway, that's going to have to do, but you should check it out. It's delicious." So there you have it. Farinata, Italian flatbread. It's delicious. So if I had to describe the consistency, in the center, it reminds me of almost mashed potato. The consistency. Or like a knish, if you've ever had a knish. The outside, not so much like a knish. It's really good. Surprisingly, I didn't think I'd like it. It's simple to make. It's delicious. So, Claire, my sister Claire, my brother-in-law Adam, I know you guys almost always eat what you make for Camden, and I know Camden loves to cook along. I really think you guys are going to enjoy this. You could top it with anything that you'd like. I think it might be a good base for a pizza at this stage. I just put maybe a little sauce, some mozzarella, maybe some oregano, pop it back in the oven till everything melts. I think that would be delicious. Tonight, as I said, I'm going to put my leftover Salina chicken stew over this. So this will be the base. I was going to do a polenta, but I've been wanting to make this, and I think this will be ideal. So anyway, I hope you guys like it. Real quick, a recap. 2 cups of chickpea flour, right? Garbanzo bean flour, 2.5 cups water. I used filtered room temperature. When you first mix the batter up, it's 1 teaspoon of salt. I probably used another teaspoon when I sauteed the onions. I used about 3.5 tablespoons of olive oil, half in the batter, the other half was to saute the onions. I used 6 small sprigs of rosemary. You could use as little or as much as you like. You could use thyme. I used 1 red onion, and black pepper I probably used a teaspoon, maybe just a little bit more. Again, I baked it. It was a preheated oven, 425 degrees. That's a convection oven. I placed it in the center, and I ultimately baked it for 35 minutes. So I believe that's everything. I hope you guys will give this a try. Let me know if you like it. All right. Thanks for watching. Camden, I hope you'll cook this and let me know how you like it. All right. Ciao.